So our fourth obstacle is that we need to achieve a local critical mass, which means right now that we've developed this platform, we need a critical mass of users, which basically means enough local users to make the product offering viable. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. So imagine a company like Uber that has this bringing together drivers and passengers, right? Imagine in a local area if they don't have enough drivers. So you download the app, you want to ride to the airport, and you wait an hour and there's no drivers, you almost miss your flight, and you say to yourself, I'm never using that app again, right? So if there's not enough people locally, not enough drivers in that example, the product has very little value for passengers. Let's look at the flip side. A driver downloads the app, he wants to make some money, and waits an hour, and there's no passengers, and says, you know what, forget that, this is not worth my time. And so unless you get a critical mass, which means enough local users, the product is not very valuable. So our objective now is to achieve a critical mass with high value pockets of users. And so when I say high value pockets of users, I specifically mean college and university students. That's our first market. So why college students? Why are we going after that market first? Well, first of all, thousands of them live and go to school in small geographic areas throughout major cities, of course. So sometimes in a 1 square mile area, you've got 10, 20, 30, 40,000 of them living and going to school. As they join our platform, many of them will already know each other, and basically the product would have instant value to them because they'll know each other and be able to talk to each other in the platform. Isn't this how Facebook went live in the college market? And I think their first product was at Hot or Not, where you saw people that you know, or maybe people you wanted to know on campus, and so it had immediate value. So products can be delivered to people that are very close to you with no shipping costs. You can just drop it off at their dorm or meet them tomorrow at the library or the student center. Services can also be offered due to that close proximity. So most services cannot be offered to each other if you don't live pretty close to each other. Our transport services, similarly, can be launched when the distances are closer. And that everything fast and free, or sharing of everything, can be enabled because you need the transport to be, you need people to be close to each other for the transport to work. Also, students are highly idealistic and motivated to join movements like ours. They really want to make a difference. More than people say that are a little bit older, and I know I'm generalizing, but a lot of folks after college get focused on the real world and are not so excited about making a difference as students are. And so they're a great audience from that perspective as well, because we are a movement. They have a need to earn with a flexible schedule and locations, because every quarter or semester their class schedule is changing, and so their work schedule needs to change. And also a lot of times they don't have vehicles, so they can't get across town to go to a job. And so on a platform like ours, they can earn without worrying about their schedule and without needing any kind of a vehicle. You know, they're also quite open-minded to try new products and things like ours. They're early adopters, right? And finally, let me go right back to the very first point I brought up, which is thousands of them live in small geographic areas throughout the major cities. In other words, these college campuses turn out to be perfectly placed beachheads. What's a beachhead? A beachhead is actually a military term. It talks about how when you're going after a city or a country, you don't want to go take your army to take over the whole city or country because you don't have enough troops, you don't have enough resources. So what you do is you find a hill or a couple hills, and that's your beachhead. You go and dominate that, you bring your supplies, you fortify that, and then you use those beachheads as sort of a source, a starting point for attacks into the rest of the city or country. And so college campuses, looking at the city of LA, look at these college campuses all over. They're perfectly spread out, and they make up really good beachheads to go after the rest of the folks, if you will. Let's look at a city in Europe. It's very similar, or even one in Asia. Same thing. And so our strategy is to basically first identify the first school we'll be going after in any city. And so, for example, if someone was going after LA, they might go after UCLA first. And so the first part of the strategy there is to bring in merchants around the school. In other words, sign up a bunch of merchants for free. So it's really easy to sign up local merchants because what we're offering them is something they don't get offered a lot. Promotions all over the platform to bring them customers for zero cost, zero risk to them. They love that. And all they have to do is provide a student discount, which they love doing anyway. Even when they spend money on an ad in the college paper, they still have to provide a discount to the students. And so we give them free promotions, so they're very easy to sign up. So we bring in the merchants next to the school. Now, students love student discounts, as you can imagine. They love to save money because they don't have a lot of money, right? And so when we get the student discounts from the merchants, the students sign up because they want those discounts. And then the third step is we enable transactions between the students and the merchants using the mobile phone. And so that's how we get this going. And then we repeat this process at the other schools in the city. And after we do all that, then we open the platform to all other consumers and merchants, not just college students. And so that's the strategy, how we roll this thing out. And those are the 4 big obstacles in making everything fast and free a reality. We've spent 20 years building the platform. We've got one part left to do now, which is the marketing, this last step. And the good news is we've done this exact thing. This model was accomplished before in the dot-com days. And it turns out there's no big competitors out there. Merchants still want students. They still want customers. Students still want discounts. And so everything is perfectly out there for us to just redo exactly what we did 20 years ago in another company to bring in the merchants and bring in the students. And so with this final piece about to roll out and with our everything fast and free becoming a reality, we can help solve this right now, right? Isn't it time that someone did that? And by the way, most of the things that are being manufactured today are hardly being used. If we can use the logistics and the software and the systems that we've generated to enable the sharing of everything in the way that we've discussed, we're going to take a big bite out of the climate crisis. And also, we can help solve this too right now, because the definition of the word poverty might change a bit when anything you might want or need can be in your hands fast for virtually free.